We've got a few people that have come in now, so we'll launch into everything. Good morning, and thank you both for joining me, and thank you everyone who's watching for coming along as well. In the spirit of reconciliation, the Restaurant and Catering Association acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respect to their elders past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders here today. So as you know, we're joining together today just to have a conversation about member benefits. Our top 5 lockdown benefits is what we are calling the conversation today. Going through a really tough time in hospitality businesses in Victoria and Tasmania, peripherally to that. And so we just wanted to get together, have a bit of a chat, talk about the kind of benefits that we have available to our members so that we can maybe start to get some positives out of it. Use that time to create maybe some additional funding, some additional support, some additional education, and try to work with what we've got as such. So just quickly, I'll introduce who we've got with me today. I've got Alex. Hi, Alex.
Good morning.
Alex is our membership support. She's based in Adelaide, so she supports South Australia, Tasmania and Victoria. Great to have a quick chat to, send a few text messages to. She's a really amazing resource and a great support to me and our members. So welcome, Alex.
Thanks, Estelle.
We also have Laura joining us today. Laura is our Head of Partnerships.
Hello.
Laura is based in Sydney and works tirelessly with our partners and getting new partners. Our single goal as a Restaurant and Catering Association is to have profitable members, and she works tirelessly to get as many member benefits as possible. So thank you for joining us today, Laura.
Pleasure.
I'll hand over to you. If you like, Laura, and you can get started on some of the top 5 things that you wanted to talk about, and we'll go from there.
Sure. Thanks, Estelle. And great idea for this, to try and get, just a different way for people to access us and remember, that we are here to support whether, things are great or in challenging times. So I guess it's just a reminder, and this is why we thought today would be a good idea for me to jump on, is that nearly all of our members, our partners they get very excited actually when I tell them that they can actually come up with a member exclusive offer, which means that this is an offer that's on the table only if you're a Restaurant and Catering Australia member. They do love it. They really do feel special when they can actually do something that's going to support the industry. And sometimes that's for growing your business. Sometimes it actually requires, like it's just a special discount or whatever. So I will show you at the end of what my discussion where you can access and look at the list of partner benefits. But I thought I'd choose today, not assuming anyone's in a certain situation, but it's something that all of my ones that I'm going to suggest today don't require you to have any import of any sort of money, but they also designed to sort of help you understand what resources are available to you. So the first one is for foodie coaches. They're an amazing platinum partner that have been with us for a couple of years now. You may or may not have heard of them, but they're a hospitality specialist mentoring group. So they basically have a few different ways of helping hospitality venues, and that could be one-on-one or in groups, or they have like a beautiful, an amazing like a retreat where they help people specifically with hospitality. And it's all about making opportunity and getting yourself in a great position and remain profitable. And they have come up with an amazing offer that isn't going to be actually here for long because they're developing another one. So this is the other reason to sort of always go and check out that list, because the partners like to change up their offer. But at the moment, they're giving people 3 weeks of their mentoring program for free. So it's 3 weeks out of 6 weeks. The guys are putting the link in there now, and that's just some more information about it. That's valued around about $730. But the great thing is that you can hop on, get the first 3 weeks and there's no obligation to continue, but basically the first 3 weeks are the core around, making sure you've got your budget in place, that you're, all your financials, and then talk about marketing and your people in the right place as well. So it's a real core fundamental thing. So I thought that was a really good one, sort of like taking a positive approach. The next one is LPC Cressa. So these guys, they absolutely adore them. I adore all my partners, actually. I've got great relationships with them. But these guys are leasing and tenancy specialists, and I put emphasis on the tenants. They are there for the tenants. They're not someone who sits on the fence and represents the landlord as well. They basically are exclusively understanding the tenant's point of view. And they've got a great access for our Restaurant Catering Australia members because, and they actually worked hard to develop this. They didn't have this product before. They were going to just give us a sort of a special price for an access. And I just said, we need to give our members something that's accessible. So they do have products where like a program that you can pay for, which gives you a high level of access to them. But there is actually a free level. The link's in there again. There's a free level that you can just go in and access tools, guides, all those sorts of things. You get access to their regular webinars. I think they do one regularly once a month and let you know about your rights and that sort of thing when it comes to tenancy. Making sure you're in the right type of lease and that you know your rights and that there's milestones in a lease process. It's not my area, so I'm not going to sit here and give you expert advice on it. But one of the things that I think sticks in my mind, and when I listen to John talk about it, he says the ink's never dry. So even if you were in your first, second, third, fourth lockdown and you renegotiated your terms, he says the ink is never dry. So if you've got a situation where you've negotiated it and you think you're stuck with that because you thought at the time it was the right thing for you and things have changed again, you can still, and he urges you to have the conversation. Just pick up the phone. Don't get yourself in a stressful situation thinking that you're locked into that. So
yeah,
I really like that one. Yeah,
it's really current right now as well with all of the rent relief. Being a discussion between tenant and landlord right now. That's what the first step is in the rent relief. That's available to landlords in Victoria. So a very, very good resource. Yeah,
so they're super knowledgeable and just really, really lovely, wanting to help. So that's a good one. They have, like I said, free access. Just sign up and get onto it so you can get information. It's just great. The next one is a new partner that I've had a lot of time talking to them, and we had a webinar only last week around deciding when, understanding when is a good time to make a decision, or understanding whether it's worth pushing through a situation financially. They're financial counsellors. They're a national-based outfit, and they've got specialists in accountancy in all over. So they talk about, supporting business growth, and, they can do all the tax stuff and everything like that. But their big specialty is around financial counselling, and the word insolvency is probably, you draw an assumption that means you go there when you've got no other choice, but they don't believe that. They believe that there's a time if you can discuss with them early enough that there's ways to make a decision that's right for you. You do have a choice. You don't want to be going to them when you don't have a choice. But if it is the right choice, and it's not shameful, like it's great support along the way, and making sure that you protect yourself if that ends up being your choice, which hopefully we hope isn't the case. Beautiful, once again, great, very intelligent, smart people too, but very, very nice and personable. The link's in the chat. And make it cheaper. Now, these guys, we love these guys. They've been partners for many, many years, and they are all about saving money on your utilities. I think there's another one for Tasmania. They only operate in Victoria, I've got to say, but I just feel like this is a no-brainer. All you need to do is get your hands on the electricity bill and just upload it. There's the links in the chat as well, just a simple upload. And a couple of examples, but basically whether you've got one, and they won't always be able to help you depending on what you've got your electricity account with, depending, what you're already paying. But they review the bill, look at your usage and all that sort of thing, and they tell you straight, like within 24, 48 hours, whether they can save you money by switching accounts by your provider. It's a really simple process. We've got an immense amount of case studies where we've saved thousands and thousands of dollars, even for individuals. It can start for a few $1,000s of savings. There was one group, and this is not a word of a lie, that had like several venues, and they saved them $45,000 in a year. I can't.
Wow.
We just can't believe that. But collectively, with just the industry, they've identified upwards of $500,000 worth of savings for the the total nation of the people that they can help. So that's a really nice, simple, no-brainer. It's something you should check. Just check.
It's super quick. It's so easy. Just download your bill, and which you probably get online anyway. Then you just PDF to the link and it's done. Takes 10.
Yeah, super easy. The other one is sort of like a group of offers. Our training academy is amazing, and I think most members would also be familiar with them. But something that we're sort of mindful of is ourselves being stressed out about being in lockdown. The people that we manage and our staff and the people who are managing our people, all those sorts of things, we thought about just highlighting some of the micro credentials that were on offer. One of the biggest ones, and has been really popular in the last couple of months, is the breathe in, breathe out. There's a lot of our partners have actually invested some of their money. The likes of Found You, who were sort of payroll and attendance tech space, but there's Herbie Spices. There's a whole load that they've actually invested in developing training little digital badges and training modules that you can access for free. So we've got the link in there for, you can see the breathe in, breathe out one, but there's a whole list of them there as well. So have a little navigate around our training academy and see what you can actually take up, even if things are quieter than normal. Maybe that's time some of your staff could maybe do that, or yourself. But,
I think a really interesting thing about the micro credentials is that most of our members are employers, but the micro credentials can be really easily shared with your employees. It can give them a little something to do at home to feel like they've achieved something if they are not doing very many hours at work and that kind of thing. Personally, I really enjoy doing them in my own time as a little project, and to get a reward, to get something I can put on my resume, on my email signature, on whatever it is, to feel like I've got all of this knowledge and now I've got something to show that I have it. So I think that sense of accomplishment that a lot of us are used to getting after every service doesn't exist at the moment. So perhaps that's a good way for our employees to get a little bit of a kick as well. It's a great one, Laura. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Look, as I said, there's a myriad of offers, and I'm working hard in all of my conversations and our new partners to make sure that we're getting great offers as much as possible, that we're trying to make, get more engagement with your audience, so that, ways that you can make money, save money, get more effective operations, however it needs to be. Like I say, do keep an eye on that, because they can change as well. There's a couple that will change in the next couple of days, actually, like Stoddard's, for example, where they had the hand sanitizers really cheap. They're going to be issuing a new one, which you should look out for. But I thought maybe I should just share with you too how to get access to those member resources. You're going to share your screen, Alex, and
I will. I'll share my screen.
Guys, how to get there. So this is open in easy access for anybody on our website.
Can you see my screen?
Nice, easy one. Yep. So you just go to the rca.asn.au. And that's the URL. Click on partners and drop down. Oh no, sorry, you go to membership. I usually spend too much time in partners, right? Go to membership and look at membership benefits. This is the easy way. You can get to them the other way, but you got to go one by one. So this basically just gives you a whole access to a whole list. You can just click through. Each of those will go to a landing page. The Commonwealth Bank is an amazing one. The discounts, we'll sit here all day if I go through each one of them, but check it out, because there's offers that we do. We have the IR hotline, of course, all sorts of things, but some people come and be a member, for one reason at the time, and don't realize that we've got all these things to access and give you help along the way.
I think at the moment there are a lot of business owners that are looking at improving inefficiencies that they have in their business for reopening, that kind of thing. So looking at reservations software like 7 Rooms. I spoke to her just yesterday who just came on to 7 Rooms, and I said, we have a deal with them. You should have called me. So,
oh no.
looking at R&CA and calling Alex or myself as a first step when you're looking at making a change, because if there isn't something on the website, there might be something in the pipeline that we know, and we can say, look, we've got this other thing that we can connect you with. So there's really great member benefits available. And actually, Alex, do you want to just show where the member resources are as well? I know that it's not in line with the partners, but I just think it might be useful to see where the member resources are too. So this is things like contracts and templates that we use. It's also where this webinar will be saved if you want to revisit it after the fact. So just where Alex is going on the screen there with the member resources on the homepage, membership member resources, and then it has a list of all of the different things that are available to you. So it's also where you can find the benchmarking report a month or two until the new one comes out, wage tables, lots of other things in there as well. So take a look at those.
Yeah, that's a huge list.
Great. Thanks for sharing the screen, Alex. You can close that down now if you'd like.
I was going to say the training is here as well for those courses that Laura was mentioning. That's in this little bit here as well. Let's do.
Click onto the academy, that's the one.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, and then there are all your courses there as well.
The Breathe In, Breathe Out course is so great. I can't recommend it more highly to pass on to your employees. It's got really great kind of focus on budgeting. It's got importance of exercise. It's got resources that you can access for mental health. There's lots and lots of great things in there. So definitely recommend that one. To share it to all of your networks for those that are watching, just make sure if it helps one person, then it's done its job. So yeah, that's really great too.
Yeah, you can see that a lot of those are free too, which I just, it's amazing the little things you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And the ones that aren't free, if you have financial hardship and you would like to ask for a discount code, Kat in our training department loves it when people do her courses. She gets such a kick out of it, just like Laura gets a kick out of speaking to partners, and I get a kick out of speaking to members. She gets her kick out of people doing her courses. So yeah, get in touch and we can always arrange for a discount to be applied and that kind of thing, because we understand how tricky it can be financially at the moment. I think now we might just jump into if anyone has any questions. We've got a few minutes if anyone wants to pop a question in the Q&A or add anything to the chat box. And if we don't hear from anyone in a minute or so, then we can wrap it up. But I don't know if Laura or Alex, you have anything you want to add while we're waiting for people to maybe throw a question in the chat box?
No, not for me, but I guess it's just always, it's great for me. I do welcome either through the girls or, hopping on an email and just letting us know things types of partners that you're interested in who could support you as well in areas of your business. I'm looking to fill all gaps as much as possible, and luckily I like talking, because that's all I do is talk to people all day. And we do, we really like to take our time in making sure the partners that we work with and engage with are, I guess, formidable is the word that comes to mind, and making sure that they truly are about, supporting and helping the industry. We're not just, there's people that I say no to quite often because they're not matched with us. We want to have absolute faith in recommending anybody that we have as a partner. And so it's safe to say that the team have trust in me, and I do take that seriously. So I think that's worth just a mention, I guess.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Laura. Katarina has put a question in our chat box. She's just asked, most importantly, how will members be able to navigate vaccine passports if and when they become mandatory? It's a very, very current issue, vaccination passports, New South Wales and Victoria. And the if and when they become mandatory is the first step. And I guess it's really important to know that we don't have the resources specifically for that currently, but there are so many conversations ongoing between our CEO, Wes Lambert, Tom Green, who's our head of policy and government, and the Victorian government. They are really working very, very hard to support our members, and our members have asked that they would like to have vaccinations be mandatory and vaccine passports be a part of that process. And they are talking about how to integrate that into the current Services Victoria app and how that will be navigated. And they're also really, really looking for the pathways for the exceptions, the exemptions, the people that haven't been able to get vaccinated for health reasons, that haven't been able to because of the timeframes that are required for the first dose, second dose, younger age groups that haven't been eligible for long enough and that kind of thing. And those are conversations that are happening probably right now and every day. And it is such a hot topic and changing every day. But I think the most important thing to know about the vaccine passports is that all of these member resources will be available to you as members as soon as we have them and as soon as something is mandated. Those documents are in the process of being produced as we go along. And as soon as there's new information on those, we will be sharing that with people as soon as possible, because we know how current it is, how important it is to businesses. We know that double vaccination is key to getting reopening of our venues, and that is the most important thing that we're working on at the moment. So as soon as there is advice on how to navigate that, and as soon as something is locked in, we will share that with our members as the most important thing that we do. So Katarina, great question, and thank you for asking that.
I think that'll be the topic of the time for quite some time, but we will be there to guide the members definitely in the best way. Brendan, who I think is in the webinar at the moment too, he will be integral in communicating that and guiding everybody legally, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Actually, Brendan, did you want to take an opportunity to extend on that? I'll add you to the chat if you want to add your.
Here he comes.
I'm throwing you in. Can you hear us, Brendan? Did you want to add anything to that?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, great.
Thank you, Estelle. Yeah, I completely echo your points about how it will be so important, especially for our Victorian members. We're already starting to see the rhetoric turn towards that. And yeah, I think as a first point of call, of course, would be the IR hotline, which our members have access to. If they have any questions in relation to that, in terms of navigating the vaccine passports. I think what we will find is that a lot of the apps that the government uses and trying to have a one-stop shop for the apps in terms of showing you a vaccination and the verification of them, it will most likely look like some sort of government app to show the vaccine certification. And then in terms of being able to demonstrate that at the venues, more or less similar to showing your driver's license to check that you're of age in a very similar manner. This is the direction that we're heading towards, that, it will be a demonstration of your certification of vaccination.
Thanks very much for that, Brendan. I think maybe we'll wrap everything up now. Please call the IR hotline, as Brendan has suggested. Call me, call Alex. We can always have a conversation about how to navigate that individually in your venues. I know that it depends on, actually, Brendan, there's just been another question from Katarina who's asking, will there be a moratorium on culpability? I think that has directly related to whether it's mandated or not. Do you want to add to that, or should we take it offline and speak to Katarina personally?
Yeah, I can touch on that. I'm presuming here that the culpability is talking about if you mandate vaccines for staff and there is some sort of adverse reaction or side effect there. At the moment, with COVID-19 and vaccines, it's kind of like a sliding scale. So if you are if your business is actually hosting the vaccine, there are obviously more concerns there if they're being jabbed on the spot at work, and you'd obviously need to seek further legal advice on that. If you're just asking your staff to be vaccinated and they go to their GP clinics or they go to a vaccine hub, that's a little bit different, where you haven't forced anyone to get the vaccine. They can still choose to refuse, and whether there is an ongoing employment there is another question, and it's quite separate. But yeah, in terms of managing workplace risk as a whole, let's say you have vaccinated and unvaccinated staff, it's certainly a matrix of factors. So vaccines are not the only thing to reduce the risk of COVID-19 transmissions. There are other factors in play that include, social distancing, hand sanitizer, face masks, face shields. If you so choose to elect to have rapid antigen testing in your workplace, you don't need to wait for a public health order to do that. You can elect to go above and beyond those minimums, and that's something we've been advocating as well for our members, to be able to have a greater supply of rapid antigen testing for a lot of our members, a lot of the venues, a lot of our caterers, a lot of the events, who will be relying on that. And so, yeah, it's certainly something that we've been advocating really hard for with the government, and there've been a few articles in relation to that. And I'll just cover the last one that I see. So if there is a customer with a group of 10 and only 50% are vaccinated, look, we don't know exactly what it looks like at the moment. We'd have to wait for the public health orders for what those specifics may be. At the moment, it's all guesswork to see whether businesses will be responsible for compliance and ensuring that there are people at the door double checking vaccination certification passes. We don't know what the drafting of those look like at the moment, but certainly if there was a requirement for your patrons to be vaccinated, and there are those who are unvaccinated, it would look like we're certainly in the direction that those who are not vaccinated will not be permitted to go in. And then the best way to deal with any, let's say, fallout from those who are doing the bookings is you want to have a clause in your contracts that state that, from the get-go, you'll follow the public health orders, and if it requires vaccinations, then only those who are vaccinated can come in. And that is, that can't be a reason for a cancellation asking for the deposit back just because the patrons haven't done the right thing. And so that's the best way to go about it.
So Brendan, would you suggest that currently when making reservations for inevitable reopening, that it's a checkbox that says, I understand that all public health orders will need to be followed, including mandatory vaccinations, et cetera, in as like a checkbox kind of thing, or somehow in writing? Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah, I think it only helps to strengthen for our members and for the businesses to have something like that, so that, the last thing you want is for someone to cancel saying, oh, only, half of my party guests were vaccinated or my wedding guests were vaccinated. And you want that in writing, because at the moment, if those contracts don't have that, or your booking forms don't have that, there could be a lot of ambiguity, and, you may have to refund the deposit or wait for that to be contested in court. And obviously we don't want to wait for that to be contested in court. We want to be proactive and deal with that now. So that's certainly the recommendation. Have, clauses, as you just mentioned, have that in effect.
Yeah, great. Thanks so much for answering that question. Catherine, I might give you a call after this and do a bit of an introduction with you and Brendan as well, so that you can talk a little bit further on this, because you've got some really great questions. And as it is such a hot topic and moving very, very quickly, and very reliant on what the government puts in place, we do kind of need to keep that conversation open. So thank you very much for asking these questions and things as we go. But I'll give you a buzz as well after this to talk about it a bit more. With that, I'm going to wrap everything up. Laura, Alex, thank you very much for helping today. And Brendan, thank you very much for at the end there with helping with the vaccination questions. It's great to have conversation about these things in any of the forums that we have. So thanks very much for all of that.
Thanks for having me. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Estelle. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, bye, everyone. Thank you.